Hi, I'm Liz Cully, and welcome back to Cool, Cool, Cool. Each week, I give you a glimpse into what I think is cool and chat with a ton of people that are definitely cool. No topic is off bounds unless, I guess, it's not cool. Welcome to Cool, Cool, Cool. I have always believed in psychics. It just, to me, makes sense that there are some people, whether they can read energy, look into a past life, maybe predict the future, that they exist. That there are people who can read energies, because that's what we are, right? We're just like big balls of energy. I've been to a few over the years. I went consistently to one, and I would talk to her over the phone, which Rachel always thinks is like a complete bullshittery, because how can somebody like predict your future or talk about what's going on with you if you've never even met in person? I think it's possible. I think it's all about these super sensitive people being able to tap in to their higher self or their vibrating organisms. I don't know. Sometimes you don't have to explain everything. Like, why is chocolate so good when, the cacao plant is like bitter and disgusting? Like, whatever, The Mayans, amazing. Egypt, incredible. The Vikings, whoa. Like, do you know what I'm saying? There's shit that just can't be explained. And I'm okay with that. But I've always believed in them. And I remember growing up and watching like the Montel Williams show and seeing Sylvia Browne. And for those of you guys that don't remember Sylvia Browne was this older woman with blunt bangs and kind of reddish hair. And her claim to fame was saying that she could like find missing people, and she ended up being wrong a couple of times. And I believe she was like accused of like money embezzling or fraudulent behavior, and I think she paid a fine. But she definitely was right and wrong. And I remember this kid named Ryan, who was awesome, that I went to middle school with, and he was very obviously queer and got bullied a lot. So obviously I was his friend. And he and his mother were like literally devout Sylvia Browne, fanatics, I would say, but they would go and they would travel and see her. And I think that, there have been moments in my life that I just can't explain. I don't know if you've ever had any of those, but where I've gone into a house or I've gone into a room or I've met someone, it's like where you're like, oh my God, I've met you before, and you can't put your finger on it. Or you go somewhere and you're immediately spooked and then find out like a crazy murder happened. It's happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to you. And we could blame it growing up in San Francisco. We could blame it on a lot of things. I'm a sensitive gal. What can I say? So at my Margaret Cho live show, which if you haven't listened to that episode, 10 out of 10 recommend, I had seen before going down to the theater this like beautiful woman sitting at the bar with these sick sunglasses and crazy jewelry. And I was like, ooh, I like your glasses and like your vibe. And I was just drawn to her. She ended up attending the show, which was so awesome. And who she was actually Jusstine, aka Psychic Girl, who had been featured on Margaret Cho's reality show back in the day and did a reading for Margaret. And she's been practicing and sharing her psychic and clairvoyant abilities with the greater world for over 35 years. And she was just so sweet. And she contacted me on Instagram and offered to come on the show, which I was thrilled about, and do a reading with me. And, for me, like I said, I'm a total believer. I'm like, you know what? Let's go. The thing is, and what I really love that Jusstine will explain is like, I don't go into these things like with questions that I don't necessarily want to know the answer to, or I don't go in there, and maybe I should have prepared more, because you'll hear, I'm like, well, I don't know what to ask, and I did ask like if I will have children or, things like that. But for me, it's just more about like where I'm supposed to be and am I doing the right thing? When I was younger, I would have asked something like, am I going to be famous? Well, no, bitch, you ain't going to be motherfucking famous because you don't want to be famous. Celebrities are monsters. We know this. You know this. I know this. They know this. I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't have the mental capacity. And quite frankly, like, yes, we all have narcissistic tendencies, but like, I'm not a full-blown narcissist, so I have no business being famous at all. But maybe if I had rephrased that question, I would have understood that perhaps like this medium would be something that I would be so excited about. So you're going to hear the whole reading, which is nuts. I felt good coming out of it. Jusstine is incredible. Her website is psychicgirl.com. I 10 out of 10 recommend reaching out to her, especially if you have, loved ones that have passed. Like now that I've done it, I wish I had asked about my godfather. I wish I had asked about my grandmother. I also wish I had asked about, a lot of family members that I had never met before, because I only grew up with one grandmother. I didn't have, my parents were older when they had me. And so, my dad's mother and father had already passed away. My mom's dad passed away when she was in her early 20s. Like people like that I haven't met that I'm curious about and their take on me. I was very close with my grandmother. Like I should have asked those questions, but I was kind of overwhelmed. But enjoy. And I'm interested into what you guys think. So make sure to message me and tell me, do you believe?
Go ahead and say your first and last name for me. And that just helps me tune into your energy. And
my government name.
No, whatever you're comfortable with. Doesn't matter. Whatever you're comfortable with.
I mean, my name is Elizabeth Cully.
Okay, great. And so I'll just take a moment and tune in here. Okay. So as I go to look at you and your guides and teachers are coming in here, so usually what'll happen, you'll kind of unconsciously scan your space and you'll look for what energy is most stopping or blocking you. And that's really where we go in and do the healing part from, because it's very human to look for these very mental understanding or logical answers to things. That's why everyone always asks, why did that happen? And what does that mean? When really everything is energetic and it's the energy that's running the show. So your life, it's the sum up of everything you've been through, all your past lives, what you've been through this life. Even your family genetic stuff will kind of roll over onto you, even your partner's stuff once you're in a relationship and start to take on their stuff. And so it becomes this patterning of how you're existing every day, what you're attracting or not attracting. And so when we go in and kind of let go of some of that stuff that you've been holding on to this lifetime and for lifetimes, that's how we start to get a different lasting outcome. So when I look at you, there is such a beautiful energy here. It's funny. I was talking about the pink with Margaret, but all colors have a vibration, and that color pink has to do with love. That is so like everyone has, I'll talk about this a lot, but we all have kind of like a soul color, and that's like what you're working on in that lifetime. But this color is just so connected to you, and you are so compassionate, and you yourself are a healer. And I see where it's really hard to not get over. You're very intuitive when I look at you, and, it's really hard to not become overwhelmed in how, when we feel like, what can I possibly do when everything is so overwhelming? You're a healer, and I see that part of you. You've been around for lifetimes. I see this connection to Jesus, but I don't want you to get caught up in Jesus as a religion or how you know in religion, because really our goal in life is to break the cycle of coming back over and over again and master life and death. And so these greatest minds that have done it before us, like Buddha and Jesus, and there's hundreds and thousands of them, but they don't hang out in everyone's space. But when there's someone where you have the ability to reach a lot of people and you've done your own work, they will hang out in your space. So I see this connection to Jesus really as he has a lot to do with, I hate that word manifesting, but it is like making stuff happen in the physical form. And so I see you having a connection to him. And you're quite an alchemist. I don't know if you know what that word is, but it's really the ability to change energy. So you can, it's really about like taking a bad situation and making it good, or however you're going to shift energy. But I'd be really surprised if you didn't consider yourself spiritual, because when I look at you, you definitely are someone who is so incredibly spiritual, and you are such a healer to those around you. And right now is really a great time where you have absorbed a lot. You think about it, our life, it's like this closet, and it's filled with every piece of clothing we've ever worn, and no one ever has taught us how to clear that out.
Yeah.
And that is, anything that isn't all rainbows and butterflies or joy in our life, we store as trauma. And the way our goal is really to free ourselves of that, to get as free as possible. So I just see that part of as everyone is right now, overwhelmed with everything we're experiencing, that a little bit about what we're talking about what you're feeling, that is temporary, and there is like a shift here for you. And there's just, when I look at you, there's really a huge turn that you're going to make here as far as what you're going to do for yourself, working for yourself. Like, it's really going from you being able to see what you have been able to do for other people. And then there's this huge opening here of like what you're going to go do for yourself. And it's like very kind of limitless here. It's pretty cool. I don't normally get into the questions, but that's how your guides and teachers want to let you know how they see you. And we'll kind of move that to the side, and then we can start with whatever you want, and you can jump all around.
Well, that's great. Well, it's interesting that you bring up like spirituality and Jesus. As a kid, I wasn't really raised religious. We did the very typical.
Lucky you that you weren't.
I know. Well, we just did the typical, like we would go to church on Sundays, I think, because that's what my parents thought we should do. And then they were probably like hungover and tired and didn't want to take us anymore. So we stopped going. But when I was about 10 years old, I started to go by myself.
Wow.
I would like ride my bike to church, which is so weird. And I did that for quite some time. And then I ended up going to all-girl Catholic school, which is really, people try to, at least when I went, Convent of the Sacred Heart, also Paris Hilton.
Wow.
We all went there. It wasn't, the scary kind of school. You know what I mean? Like, our religious teacher, God bless her, would literally fall asleep in class and play us like weird religious cartoon videos. It was not that serious, but it was definitely very spiritual. I feel like I'm in such a grown-up place in my life finally. I think as the youngest of 4 kids, I was like the youngest cousin. I was always sort of felt, while I was really mature for my age, I was still always babied or looked at as being quite young. And now I feel like I'm an adult. But I'm really about to hopefully make that shift into parenthood. And do you see that as something?
So put that into a question.
Am I going to have kids?
Well, the beautiful thing is kids are really free will choice, right? And well, I shouldn't say right, because a lot of people don't know or realize that it really is like up to you. I mean, I get yes that you are. You can ask super specifics. Like, you can ask, like, do we do this way or that way? Or like, you can ask very specifics about that, and I can get you specific answers. But to me, it looks like you very much want that. It doesn't look like it's like right now today. It does look like it's a little bit off here of when it would happen.
I'm so old.
I can just tell you.
I don't have a lot of time.
But your idea of what old is
Fair
might
enough.
not be the reality of what is happening. But it does not look to me like this is happening right now today. Honestly, it looks like it's 2 to 3 years off.
Really?
Yeah. But you still have, ask more specific questions that you have about it.
I guess more specific. I mean, I'm supposed to start IVF medication this week.
Yeah.
Will it be successful, or am I looking like it's going to be a long time? I mean, you can also do a lot of things with IVF. So
yeah,
that's interesting about the time.
And, and at the end of the day, like, look, I want for you what you want for yourself. So do your guides and teachers. The IVF feels in your body kind of heavy.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, sometimes people have a hard time of just everything you go through, of what it does to your body.
Sure.
So, what's your doctor's name?
Dr. Michelle Evans.
Okay. So I get the doctor is good. And, let's do this healing. It's like, it looks, look, it's not just about you. It's you, the spirit that wants to take the body, the person that is going to be your partner in this. It's just not you shopping for it. It also has to do, look, I've helped a lot of people with pregnancy stuff.
Sure.
There's like more spirits that want bodies than bodies are even available on this planet. Like, we've got to create a space for you to have a connection with a spirit you want to give a body to. Because even when you get pregnant, and let's say, even if someone adopts a child, things are karmic. So it's not this just, random how that
Right.
spirit ends up in your body. Like, we have karma with people. And so we just naturally reincarnate around each other in each other's lives, getting an opportunity to work this stuff out. And so however it gets here, it gets there, you know? So it just feels to me like your body might take the IVF and kind of, it's going to be really foreign to your body. And so, but I mean, the beautiful part is I do get you're going to have kids. I don't know if you have some more questions about this.
How many kids do you think I'll have?
There's 2 here that are really strong. I think that you could have 3, but it looks like 2, and again,
where would I put 3 children?
But look, that just means kind of like these agreements that you have. And that's why everything is free will choice, right? So the 2 look very strong. There is this other agreement off over there in the background, but it doesn't mean you have to fulfill it. You could wake up tomorrow and be like, I don't want kids. And
right.
It's really like anything we choose to do to our own body, from my understanding of what I've seen and what I've studied in all these years is you really have the right to do whatever you want. Like if you were pregnant and you decided to have an abortion, that spirit is long gone by the time that happens. And there is no bad karma that you occur for that in your life. So it really comes down to like, what's going to work for you.
Do you think I'll carry the kids?
It just doesn't seem to me like you are carrying a child immediately here.
Yeah.
And it seems there's some stuff happening with your career that you're going to be really excited about and that's going to be very accelerating here. So you might feel like, it's just, it is not right now where things are getting slower or calmer or you're getting more homey. It's like, there's just like an opportunity that opens up here that that you have to go do and take because it really seems like one of these once in a lifetime opportunities and that you're going to be really excited about. And that happens like this looks very soon. And that happens, that's why you're not going to have a kid here immediately.
Yeah.
But it's just going to put you, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a very successful thing. It's going to, it's just one of these things that also that you have created for yourself so that you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like every part of you is going to know that you have to take this or do this, what's coming up.
Interesting. Will I ever, along with work, but will I ever do any of my artistic side hustles again?
Well, ask about them individually.
So I sang for a long time.
Okay.
And I haven't. I toured, did the whole thing.
Yeah.
But is that sort of over?
That doesn't look like what this next opportunity is.
I don't think so either.
I don't see you excited about that. Like, that's not what's feeding your spirit here.
Yeah. What about like this show? Cool.
Well, it has a strong energy around it. And I don't see you wanting to give this up or get rid of this right now. So this definitely stays in the mix of what you're doing. But this does look separate from this other thing I see happening.
I think it's separate. But I just kind of wanted to know individually how this show.
This still is on your plate.
It's still on my plate.
Yeah. I think just your guests might end up getting bigger and bigger.
Well, that would be cool now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Moving towards sort of like you brought up trauma and how you can like move through that. It has been while I've done so much work on myself in so many ways, therapy, I've tried to meditate. I'm terrible at meditation.
Well, not everyone's a great meditator. And you have to know therapy is trying to figure shit out with your mind, right?
Right.
The answers are not in our mind. If we had answers in our mind, the hundreds and thousands of times that we've gone there looking for the answers, we would have got it. And even if you're able to be like, okay, XYZ happened because, I fell on my head when I was 3, that doesn't help your body and all these parts of you release it out of your, it's all energetic. So, if therapy works for people out there, that's great, but it doesn't help you release trauma out of your body. And your system cannot tell if it's happening now where you're just thinking about it. Your body is taking it as if it's happening it now. So I'm not a big fan of talk therapy. I'm a big fan of finding what truly works to release everything that you're holding on to out of your body. And you have more than your physical body. We actually have these 7 vehicles of consciousness. So we have a mental body, spiritual body, astral body, emotional body. So our goal is to work with all of these to get them aligned. But, you can get very caught up in your mental body, or in this mental state of thinking about things so much and drive yourself kind of crazy.
How do you get it out of your body then?
Well, so this healing we're going to do today is really like a first step of how to clear out that closet. And there are incredible things out there. There's this great work called somatic experience, which is what people would kind of be the closest thing that people experience to talk therapy.
Yeah.
That actually teaches you how to release it out of your body. But I am a huge fan of this new technology called the Therify.
Okay.
And it's very new. And unless you experience it, it's hard. I mean, there's a lot out there as far as technology kind of meeting spirituality and healing that's happening. But the Therify is you lie between these 2 special light bulbs and it kind of creates, it sounds so scientific and I try to make everything be so not woo-woo. But you lie between these 2 light bulbs, it kind of creates this cocoon around you that you don't really see that, but it starts to take trauma out of every one of your cells.
That's cool.
And
sign me up.
Right? Like all that matters is when you experience, I mean, there's these huge, it's the same thing that Rife and Tesla and all these people before were trying to put together, but the technology hadn't caught up. And now it's here and it's incredible whether you have emotional or spiritual or actual physical trauma of what it does for, I'll set you up to go experience it. It's incredible. I'm the biggest fan.
Will I ever write a book?
Your guides are saying yes, but I just want to let you know, look, you take 1 step and your guides and teachers take 10 to help you. So it's not really this, does the universe have this in store for me?
Okay.
It's not really like that. It's, I don't see how you wouldn't do a book with everything that you have. I think for you, it's timing.
Yeah.
And, I love that you were saying that you went on tour and you were singing because I think there very much is a place for you on camera, not singing, but using your voice. And, and that's really the first thing I saw when I started to look at you was like, you'd be a great anchor news person, but that's not where you're going to go with this.
Right.
But so I think that there is a book in you, but also that is not right now. And you don't have time for that right now. And that it's not fully here of how you would put it together.
Yeah. It's something I've always stopped and started, but it doesn't feel like
it's not right now.
It's the time at all, which is interesting. My mother.
Okay. So just say your mom's first and last name or her initials if you don't, or whatever you're comfortable with.
Oh, trust me. Everybody knows who she is. Jane Seligman Cully.
Okay. And what's your first question? You don't have to tell me anything about her, but just ask a real question that you want to know.
How is her health?
Okay. So I just have to say, I'm not a medical doctor or a medical intuitive now. So has a doctor said something?
No.
Okay. Because
I'm asking like almost generally.
Okay. Because just so you know, like I don't look at people and see when they're going to get sick or pass away.
No.
And your guides, again, aren't about, it's not about predicting gloom and doom. I don't think it's going to shock you. And I'll finish that. Like psychics that predict gloom and doom, you really would have your abilities taken from you because that's not what it's about. It's about inspiring and healing and comforting people. So a lot of times I don't see that unless, it's something that's someone knows about or it's really far down. Now, your mom, I don't think it's going to shock you when I look at her and she does not want me to look at her. It doesn't mean I can't answer questions, but she is like, everything's fine. Like, she just does not want me to see what's going on with her. And she has that right to be very private. Look, this reading is for you. And so I have to tell you what I see based on I can see the part of her that isn't in reality with herself in her life. Like we all have stuff we don't want to face or don't want to deal with, but, so, and she's not a bad person. And don't forget, you have karma with your mom. You pick your parents to give you exactly what you need to get what you're working on spiritually. So there's no way you don't have karma with her. You've had quite a few lifetimes going all the way back from Egypt here when I look at you. And I think that she knows that you're very intuitive and kind of can see right through her. And there's pain here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the base of everything. When we're in pain and we don't want to face certain things. And she's jealous of you. But, in that you might want to ask something else. Like she doesn't have the bandwidth or the strength to face her own stuff. And so she's just like doing everything to avoid looking at that.
Will I find peace with her in this lifetime?
Well, there's no way your guides are going to be like, nope. The whole thing is to help you get there.
Right.
And when
we,
we'll work on this in your healing. And, to me, it looks like you're going to have a big aha moment of why you are in the relationship that you're in with her. It's karma. Your goal is to break the cycle of coming back over and over and master. And so at some point, you guys have played reverse roles. It's not by accident. So I just see you having this huge aha moment of like, oh, I get it. So it's more where you're going to become more neutral and have more compassion for her. And you're really the adult here in the relationship.
Yeah.
What's in London or the UK for her? Has she spent any time over there?
No, but I was with my uncle 2 days ago from London.
So whether this is
I don't know if that's trickling over.
Well, or it could just be, a past life, like a recent past life, maybe that she had some, are you guys having a past life over there? I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She was quite the traveler. So can you see how many past lives I've had? Or does that not really present itself?
Well,
or
and it doesn't really matter. You can just know that there's tons of them, right? It's
really?
Hundreds and hundreds of them. So I don't really get like an exact number.
Got
and
it.
It doesn't really matter in the big picture. It's just really about if we're lucky enough to get some very specific information about who we were in a past life, it's to really look at our personality and see if we've changed and grown. Because the whole goal is to grow.
Is to evolve.
Yeah. But we, already know you were back in Egypt. So
which is really cool because I'm obsessed with Egypt and I've never been. Maybe that's why.
You don't have to go. I mean, you can go, but I mean, whether you have past lives there or not.
I just love Egypt. I've never been. I think it's so cool.
Did you see the tech guy that just got, I'm sure you did, the guy that just got married there,
yeah.
The whole wedding.
Like psychotic.
Yeah.
I just always loved it. My mom always loved it. She went many, many times.
Oh, and then you should go and see how you feel there.
I know. And it's just also like legit one of the birthplaces of civilization.
Yeah.
Will I leave LA?
Doesn't look like it. It doesn't mean you can't spend time other places.
Sure.
Like I do see Paris for you having a connection, south of France energy here. And you've got a pretty hardcore base here in LA, at least for now.
I know it's interesting when you move somewhere and people always ask, they're like, do you think you'll leave? And I'm like, I don't see it.
You're really, everyone has their place of where that's like, this is your home. You're so grounded through here. But I think that you can spend some time in other places.
Yeah. Even though it's, I guess, not about me, is it silly to ask you about my house?
I do a ton of work with real estate.
Oh, that makes sense.
Tons and tons and tons of work with I help properties sell that's not selling.
Got it. I feel like we have amazing energy in our home.
Okay.
The family that we bought it for, the woman had passed away, not in the home, which I was curious about. But will we stay in this home for a long time?
It feels that way. I mean, look.
Will I have a pool? That's all I care about.
Objects absorb energy, right? So the home of where you live has absorbed the energy of everything that's ever happened there. And I mean, your house is just like your favorite piece of clothing or your warm furry blanket. Like you've turned this into a sanctuary. It just is. You have a relationship with your house. It's like very alive.
Okay. So I will be there for a while.
Yeah.
Forever?
Look, destiny is not set in stone, right? So like forever I think everybody wishes they could go to a psychic and get these specifics and sign on the dotted line. And it just doesn't work that way because it's not just about us. It's about other things. This house, you have no desire to sell this house. No. And, having a pool, there might be like a compromise in the immediate future of something you do versus putting in a pool. But, you have no plans for this to go anywhere at any time. So
got it. Oh gosh.
And it does seem like it's on really special ground where, it's also like the ground. It's not just the house. So it is a very healing space.
Got it. I guess and I agree. You cannot, I don't actually want that. That's why I'm not sitting here. I know some people who have the opportunity to speak to people like you which is very special, by the way. And I know how special it is. Oh. But they're like, well, I get divorced and like, will my mom die? Like, I don't have any interest in that at all.
Those are those kind of questions that anyone answering those kind of questions, right? That's the gloom and doom stuff.
Sure.
So unless you're in the midst of having issues in a relationship, there's just no way your guides and teachers are going to, or any psychic you go to that is putting you in fear about stuff like that is just trying to control you. It's just not how it really works unless it's, very evidential that's happening in your life already. So it's more like if you have relationships, work relationships or work situations you might want to have ask questions about, or other people in your life or your partner or anything.
Well, for me, all I just want for my wife is to be happy and to be good. And so I always try to think like, how can I not let because I am a very emotional person. When I was younger.
Say her name.
Her name is Rachel Chapman.
Okay. So just ask a question that you want to know about her. I mean, when I look at the two of you, there's this infinity symbol and you're so facing each other. Like there is just you guys have mutuality and that's what we want. It's like what you want from that other person that they want to give you and vice versa. There's just such incredible longevity here. And it's really beautiful. Like you guys are very matched on the lifestyle traits that it needs to be able to have that long-term compatibility, which is rare. But like your communication style is the same. Like you just have a lot aligned here. So there's really like this energy of just flying in your relationship. So that is something you really have going for you to be able to have this long-term compatibility.
We've been through some shit.
Well, I don't doubt that.
We've been through. Have we ever met each other in another lifetime? Stuff like that? Or is that
look, why do you think you feel something more for one person than another? There's just no way. I mean, you can get into a relationship with someone you haven't known before, but it a lot of times it's because they remind you so much of somebody that you were close with, again, in past lives. But you guys have known each other before.
Yeah.
And there is, to me, when I look at it, there's just no way you wouldn't have found each other. And it is such like you were already married before you guys found each other and got married. It's just such looking at relationships all the time, every day. I wish that relationships were like this all the time. When I looked at them,
I want to cry. I'm also PMSing.
It's like a very beautiful union here that just has such incredible energy around it. And I don't doubt you haven't been through some stuff, but you guys are so committed to each other here. It's really beautiful.
Will she have a kid? Does it look like she'll give birth to a child?
She could.
Oh, shit.
There's kind of more energy around her. However, she does not have to. I mean, I think that's just like most recent past life memories that are coming up. So I think you guys haven't really, it's just a lot of this energy swirling around of like how this can play out, and that you're close. You're just not there yet. It really is like 2 years away, but that can also include like getting pregnant in the time of
right.
It's not like right now, but look, you have free will. Let's give you this healing and see what you want to do. I can see how excited you are about having a family, but you also have a thing here about right timing. Like you might not recognize it, but a lot of what's happened to you in your life is you being in the right place at the right time and the right Like you have a gift of being in the right place at the right time.
Really?
It does. So you're really timing is everything. And that's a big thing for
Timing
you.
is everything.
Is like, and also being open. You know, somebody can be in the right place and they get some opportunity and they don't take it. Like you've got this energy here that is like not sabotaging yourself, which is that, I mean, many people sabotage themselves.
I know. I feel that way every time I see ice cream. Just sabotage. I can't help it. I'm addicted to ice cream.
Well, better just sabotage yourself over ice cream than some big, gigantic, life-changing,
Yeah, fair enough.
You know.
Shall we start?
We can do the healing part. Okay. So just know our mind is really tricky. So as we go to do this, your mind might tell you that you're doing it wrong, or it drifts off, or just there's no way to do it wrong. All that's going to happen is you're just going to close your eyes and you're going to put your head down and just take a breath and connect with your body. So we're going to go in search of if you have a pain in your heart or a clutching in your stomach. We're going to start at 10, and just know we're going to start at 10. The goal is to get to 0, and you cannot do this wrong. So just imagine if you were to take an elevator from the center of your head down to your heart and open the door and get out and feel around, and then get back in and take it down to your stomach and open the door and get out and feel around. And which one do you happen to notice more? Is there a pain in your heart, or is there a clutching in your stomach? Which one do you happen to notice more? Heart. Great. So this is where you're holding on to all this energy and it really wants to leave your body. It just hasn't had a way out. So we're going to help it. We're going to put a big door right in front, and we're going to go in here and just start to gather up all this energy. And you can see it like a big wave or 100 balloons or 100 butterflies. It's whatever works for you. And there's usually one of 3 things that we get triggered on, which is wanting control, wanting approval, or wanting to feel safe. And you might feel all 3, but one is going to stand out more than the other. So what one do you happen to notice more? Wanting control, wanting approval, or wanting to feel safe?
Control.
Great. So there's nothing wrong with having control, with being in control, but that want actually keeps us from having it. So we're just going to imagine if you could let go, even if it's just the tiniest little bit of that needing control. And you can just say yes in your mind over and over again. That helps it to release. And just imagine letting go even more and one more time and yet again. And we're just going to set this up on automatic. It's like this big, beautiful mountain in Hawaii, and it has a huge waterfall coming off of it. And we started this process. There's nothing we can do to stop it. We're going to go all the way till we get to the root of it and just release it all together. So we're going to allow that to keep doing its own thing, releasing more and more. And we're going to go to this part of your mind where you go looking for answers. Like we talked about, in our mind, it's like this file cabinet that records and plays back information. So when you go there looking for something like, what's my address? You have it and you can recall it. But when you go there looking for something like what's going to happen in the future and what's going to happen as far as your work and all these different questions, your actual mind doesn't have the answer. And it starts to create a block between your intuition and your higher self bringing in what's next. So we're just going to start to let go of all this energy that you've been holding on to all the way back from the beginning of time. And we're going to start to let go even more. And we're going to start to have you send yourself the energy of love, because you're really the only one who can send it to you. So just start to see it wrap around. It's like this big, pink, warm, furry blanket. And as it wraps around, it just starts to fill every cell of your being with this energy of love. And we're going to cheat here. We're going to take this big approved stamp, and we're just going to stamp all over until we can't see you anymore. Approved, 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 leaving you all wrapped up in this energy, not having to figure anything out. And then we're going to go work on some of these other situations going on in your life. So we're going to take a big bubble. And in that bubble, we're going to put the opening of the reading, and we're going to put everything that's got you to this point and place in your life. You don't have to remember what that is. And we're going to start to let go. And as we take that big pink warm furry blanket and wrap it around, that energy is going in here and just really starting to clean up anything negative, anything non-beneficial, any unconscious blocks, anything blocking or stopping you from really truly creating the life of your dreams. And we're just going to leave this wrapped up in this energy. And then we're going to take a bubble and we're going to put your prosperity. So anything that's not the energy of just absolute success and prosperity is moving out through that door. And we're going to start to bring in opportunities that you can't even imagine. And again, just letting go of anything in between you, having the just absolute prosperity in every area of your life. Taking this right up to this big, beautiful diamond. And we're going to leave that wrapped up doing its own thing. And let's take a bubble and we're just going to take your relationship space. So we'll take your partner and you, and we're also going to take the energy of every person you've ever had any kind of romantic exchange with. And you don't have to remember any of who these people are. Just imagining putting that energy in this bubble works the same. And as we wrap that big pink warm furry blanket around and it touches every one of these people, all of your energy starts to come back to you and all of their energy is going back to them, cleaning up anything in between you, just having the relationship of your dreams, getting better and better, taking this up to this big, beautiful diamond. And then just lastly, we're going to take a bubble and we're going to put you being on your spiritual path. We're going to put your relationship with your guides and teachers and your own intuitive and healing abilities. And as we wrap that energy around, it's just starting to clear the way more and more, burning away anything in between you and this incredible healing energy that you have, your own intuition. And we're going to leave all of this wrapped up in this energy. And with your eyes closed, we just want to see if we're moving in the right direction. So we started at 10. The goal is to get to 0. If you could put a number on where you are right now, let's just take a bubble and ground it and look inside. And where is that number? Whatever you get is perfect.
3.
Great job. So we're going to take and separate you from your mom and your dad and any unconscious conditioning or beliefs that you happen to pick up from anyone on either side of the family, just all the way back from the beginning of time, and putting you right in touch with the pure energy of who you are as a spirit, what you came here to do, who you came here to meet, all the people you came here to touch with your energy. And we're going to take the energy, we're going to take that number 3, we're just going to blow it up to be as this room, as big as the building, as big as LA, as big as planet Earth, as big as the whole universe. It's so big, it just burst into a million little pieces as a whole wave matching that energy is moving out every muscle, tissue, cell of your being, all of your bodies where it's been hiding. And we're just going to put a bomb right underneath that number 3 and watch it explode. And more of that energy is moving out. And then we'll take that bubble and ground it and look inside. And where is that number?
1.
Great. So we're going to take the edges of that one and just stretch it to be as tall as the Empire State Building. We're going to stretch it across the whole planet Earth. We're going to stretch it to where the edges wrap around and touch each other and create this gigantic 0. And in that 0, there are these huge white fireworks that are going off, and they're burning off any last little memory, any last little trigger. There's just a gas escaping out through that door. And this is all this energy that you've been holding on to all the way back from the beginning of time. You've just released all of that. And in this, we're going to start to bring in all the energy that is going to help you in just creating the life, the relationships, the prosperity, being on your spiritual path, just everything and anything you want and desire. And then just for fun right now, put your hands up on your lap, face up, and in your left hand, let's just take a bubble. And that is you keep like staying where you are right now. I'm trying to see how you want to do this because you're already showing me so much in this healing. So in that left hand, actually, let's put this opportunity and we're just going to take a look at what it would look like if you took that opportunity and what it would look like, a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, and just kind of feel around and see if that has like a feeling or a color or a sound, if you're attracted to it or not, just what it feels like to you. And then in the other hand, we're going to create a bubble, and that will be if you don't take that opportunity and what your life would look like 5 months from now, 5 years from now, 50 years from now. And if that has like a feeling or a sound or a color, or just which one of these bubbles is just screaming out that you're more attracted to. Great. And then we're going to blow both those bubbles up. And then we're just going to take and put a big psychic map right inside of you so that all this can find you and you can find it. And we're going to bring your cell receptor sites right up into present time, teaching your body how to give this to you and connect you with your joy and your bliss and having everything you want without figuring out how it's going to happen. And we're going to turn the page, and this is going to be your before and after marker. So go ahead and open your eyes and just know it's really normal to feel a little dizzy or tired or out of it. And all of that is your physical body matching that energy or releasing on a spiritual level, and kind of feel around and see if that brought up a question that you want to ask. It's normal not to, but it might have made you think of something when you did all that. And then, so did you get an answer on the bubble? Like I saw which one.
Yeah.
And so was it the first one? Yeah. After you had showed me what you showed me, and honestly, I started to take your mom's energy off of it. So there was like this energy of her competition with you. And you started to show me how, it's going to make me cry. I don't know what, I mean, sometimes when I look at something and it's really beautiful, it like makes me cry. I think that's a really amazing, very safe, incredible opportunity for you. I would take that.
Yeah. Wow. That felt great, by the way. Thank you.
So, that was a lot.
Okay. And now what happens? I'm cured of
You're
all
not
my
cured.
trauma.
But here's what it
kidding.
is that when, like I told you, we have these 7 vehicles of consciousness, right? And so I'm going to send you the generic version of that healing, and you want to do it at least 6 more times. And if you can imagine, every time you do it, you're clearing more and more of all that stuff that you've been carrying around that you no longer need. So you have like this great space to bring in something new. And it's called Heal Your Relationship Space. And it really helps people like get over it's how to let go of someone you can't let go out of, or if you're going through a breakup, it really helps people get out of heartbreak very quickly. But it kind of just moves energy in all the parts of your life.
Was it hard being so energetically like connected as a child for you?
I don't think I didn't know. I did come in very sensitive.
Right.
So I didn't know anything different. And this was never anything I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be a famous fashion designer, and I went to fit him, and I went to San Francisco and I started this clothing company, and it got very big quickly. But then this happened, and, little did I know, it was just never what I thought I was going to do with my life. So I didn't know.
Are there other intuitive people in your family as well?
So my dad was very intuitive, and we had shoe stores, and he would fit people for shoes. And it was like his party trick. Like I grew up with it. Him, he'd be like, "Oh, I see you play the piano," or whatever. He loved to like stump people with it. And other kids were getting tucked in with bedtime stories, and he was psychically testing me about my day or teaching me crazy things about how to program your subconscious mind. Yeah. So it was, I was open to it because of him, but he didn't want this life for me. He just wanted me to get a good sales job. And, I'm like, I am selling spirituality to the masses. Who knew? But, so yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
How did the other people in your family feel that you two had this gift?
Well, how they didn't really have a choice.
Right.
So it's only, I come from like a small family, and it was like very foreign to them. They didn't get it. But there was no way I wasn't going to do this. I was just such a strong personality, and who was someone who so followed. I didn't even understand what I was following, but I now get that I was connected to this, and that I had I hate using woo-woo words like mission or, came here. Like, I just
Why?
feel
We are a woo-woo friendly space here at Cool,
but
Cool.
my whole
drinking my
brand,
smoothie. Like, we're good around this joint.
But my whole brand is I really take the woo out of things. So
you're very rock and roll. It's very high fashion rock and roll, which I love. Remember, that's how we first met because I saw you in the corner and I was like, girl, you look amazing. I was drawn to you. You did, which I love those glasses. But
thanks. It is, well, I know. And people are attracted to that, but I don't think there was any way I could not end up here. And I wouldn't now after 35 years of doing this and just knowing what I'm connected to. I'm so grateful to know what I know and have answers that people are seeking that I've found for myself in my life. I feel very grateful for. But I was the last to know. And it has also not been easy. If our goal is to break the cycle of coming back over and over, which I say over and over again to that people get that, like, all your karma the closer you get to that, all your stuff comes up even more to like get through it. So, you think your life's supposed to be all rainbows and butterflies, but it's tough. Like,
right.
It's a lot.
Are the people, I always used to say and I still say it, that I am so envious in a way of the people who just seem to like tra-la-la-la-la through life. Things don't really bother them. I mean, again, growing up, people were like, she's dramatic, she's emotional, she won't, whatever. And I would get horrible gut feelings on people. And I'm like, oh, hell no. This person's not right. And nobody would listen to me. And then, of course, everybody always finds out and I'm right and it's fine. And I don't get pleasure from that, actually. I don't get pleasure from being right. I'm like, okay, well, thanks a lot for putting me through that bullshit. But
same way. I don't get pleasure out of being right, especially when it's like a relationship ending or something that somebody doesn't want to hear. You're very intuitive and you're connected to, you've got this incredible ascended master in your space.
Jesus Cristo. I mean, but do those people just, are they like my mother? Are they just blocked and they refuse to let?
I think there's so many different levels. There are some people who have some blessed lives where it's like a reward lifetime for them. And so things might come very easy for them. But the more conscious you are and the more awake you are and the more connected you are to reach a lot of people and to change the world, it is tougher, right? Because light and dark is very real. And your goal is to activate your own light to become as, bright as you can be. And I know that is like a hard thing for people to understand. That's actually like a spiritual thing. There's more energy in your space for you, not to find that ability to be able to reach and heal so many people. We are at this battle of light and dark on this planet. And so it's not, it's more than just this lifetime. Everything that we're working for is what's going to happen after this lifetime. And again, being able to master life and death. And so when you are kind of very closed off and ignoring everything, you're not growing a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's wild to me because I'll just look at these people and I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I get jealous of people too that say have these, you think, and also we live life thinking, it's all Instagram and TikTok posts, and that's not reality. We know that everybody like has their stuff.
No. But, well, I mean, I'm pretty vocal about my, just never ending depression, but what can you do?
Well, this planet, I mean, look, this is the insane asylum of the universe, right? And some part of you knows it's not like that everywhere. But that depression is really all this energy that you're holding on to. Therapy would be great for you doing this healing. You'll find like when you do it the 7 times, you're going to feel a lot lighter and let go of a lot of that. But depression is very real. This planet is heavy and everybody's thought forms, which are very real and are very thick and around the planet, and you're sensitive. So you feel all that. But absolutely. I don't doubt all this work that you've done on yourself is very real, or you wouldn't be in this place that you are. I don't think that you have to spend the rest of your life in this depression. I feel like you can find things to help lift that.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that one day, just to be
this is sooner. We'll be connected after this, and I will hook you up.
All right. I'm so glad. What is something that people can do other than see you? And I'm sure you do this all over the world with people. Not just in person, or do you do it?
Oh, no, I do.
Yeah, virtual and all of that.
And all over the world. And, and also, look, I mean, I love when people find me, but I'm not like, I'm a fan of whatever people find that helps them, that works.
Sure.
But my biggest thing is helping people find what really, truly helps them release trauma. That's the biggest thing. That's why, like, this healing I recorded, honestly, it was like I had clients coming back telling me things that were happening to them when I started walking people through this healing. And I was so envious. I recorded it for myself to like listen to. And then I ended up just starting to sell it. And then like Goop featured it and Drew featured it. And it's really wild. There's so many people have done this and had such incredible stories that they come back with. So
I can imagine. I mean, I could ask you, I think there's also something to be said where, and that's why I was saying earlier, I'm not asking you some things because I don't really want to know, you know what I mean? In some ways.
And again, destiny is not set in stone, and you are not this unaware person who is just like allowing the universe to knock you around. You know, you do have to know what you want in order for that to take the steps to make that happen. Like people that are saying, oh, I just want to see what the universe has in store for me. It's not how it works, and it'll never be what you want. So I think you are, you don't realize it, but you are so much hands-on in what is happening for you and what you're creating in your life.
Yeah. I think it's also good for people to know that they have will in that, and like they have that power. Because when people say, you know, oh, it will be what it'll be or whatever, I'm like, dude, you got to do like,
everything does not happen for a reason. And when people,
oh, you don't think everything happens?
I know that it doesn't happen because people don't pay attention. And when they're not paying attention, accidents happen that were not supposed to be or meant to happen. So it's not about what happens to you. It's what you end up doing with what happened. But everything does not happen for a reason. It is just how that kind of new age thinking of, I don't want to deal with reality, or I can't accept the reality of what this is. So like, look, most things you read on the internet about finding your soulmate, all of that is just this human consciousness, right? Somebody's come up with an idea and they've put it in a book or they've put it on the internet, and then other people think that sounds good and everyone starts saying that. It doesn't mean that it's the highest truth.
Yeah, that's very powerful, I think, to tell people.
And not everybody wants that. Like, I have to be really cautious at this point who I read, because, you know, once you gain a good reputation as a psychic, and you're charging a certain amount, people have this expectation, and they like, I make people send a picture and tell me what they want help with, because I can't help people that just expect me to tell them, you know, what corner their husband is standing on and what he will be wearing.
Yeah.
You know, even though I have a lot of predictions that are online of stuff that I have predicted when people would get married, helped people find, oh, what? I mean, years and years of that stuff. Yeah. But it's because it's already in that person's space. I can see it. It's not some person that's just
like
not doing.
Yeah.
I know you have to do work. You know, some people think too, I can go to a psychic and ask any question, and that, you know, I'm going to have the answer. And it's seek and you shall find. Like, you have to do some work to be able to get that answer. And the same thing with numbers. Oh my gosh. Like, people, I did this Mark Burnett show a long time ago in Vegas, and it was people gambling. And I gave people very specific things about why they would win or not, and even numbers. And that's,
my God, I should have asked, am I going to win the lottery? You can't win if you don't play. But I'm like, oh God, this would be the time
and
for me to win the lottery.
And it's so, like, I have given people numbers, but it's again because you've created that. I can't just have everyone sit down. You know, you can't be this blocked person who's so disconnected from yourself, or have not done the work to be able to get that, and that you just expect to go to a psychic and they, but I would not gamble or play the lottery if I were you. Yours is through your work and how it's going to come.
I know.
To you.
I'm a terrible gambler. I went to Vegas. I remember the first time I put the money down and lost it. I'm not a good gambler. I'm not good. I do play the lottery here and there, and I'm like, I'm never going to win this shit. Except, you know, I know a few people that have won the lottery.
That's amazing.
Which is kind of crazy.
Like gigantic numbers?
No, not no, but like several $100,000.
That's good.
Yeah, not like the bill. I know I am one person connected from the guy who got the $2 billion in Altadena. And I went to that gas station by mistake and I walked in and I was like, wait, is this the gas station? And he said, yes. I'm like, ah. But you know, I'm not like a every week, like lottery gal.
It just shows you a lot of people that win the lottery, they can't hold on to the money because that's the patterning in their space, right?
I know.
So
I'd be gone. I'll tell you right now, I've thought about it. I would move to the south of France or Spain or Mexico. Actually, I'd probably be a billionaire, so I'd buy a place in all of them. I would have a donkey. I'm desperate for a donkey.
Oh, like a little donkey?
Yeah, because they act like dogs. I want a farm. I would just garden and farm, and I would have a little restaurant, and I would like make food, and I would chill. That's what I would do. But all these other people can't do that. They got to be crazy, buy a Lamborghini. Who cares?
It's just the patterning of like how they are before they win the lottery, you know, but some people hold on to it. It depends.
Fair enough. No, I mean, would I go on a shopping spree? Absolutely. I would go to Paris Fashion Week. But other than that, I'd be gone. You'd never see me again. You'd never hear from me again. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.